Hello, WhatCulture Wrestling. Simon Miller here, and as you can see from the background, just around about an hour away from WhatCulture's live show happening here in New York at Stand Up NY, and that's going to be live on the channel too. So quick plug, make sure you check that out. But we're around about, 12, 16 hours removed from WrestleMania 35, and I thought this was a good time to sit down and discuss last night's main event, because I'm sure you would have seen, I don't want to call it controversy, but there's a lot of chatter online, on Twitter, on the internet, and loads of people are saying the WWE just botched the main event for WrestleMania. Why? Slap yourself. Here's why. No intro. We just keep on going. That's what we do when we're in America. Now, I'm going to try and give you as much information as I have been able to get. I got up this morning, I listened to some podcasts, I did some, I basically did my research. Who knows how true any of this is, but I want to give it to you. I do think there is something you can argue about, which is not straight up fact, but more opinion. The rest will be conjecture. So, if you saw the Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey, you would have seen the Becky Lynch reverse Ronda into a crucifix pin. 1, 2, kind of 3, and it didn't really resonate with the crowd because no one actually knew if Becky Lynch had won or not. Straight away, there were rumors everywhere saying that the finish had been botched. I read one report, and again, I won't call out the people that did it because I'm using myself as a relay to go through to you, who even said that wasn't meant to be the finish. Becky Lynch was meant to tap out Charlotte Flair, and then there's other reports out there that say that's not the case. I go with one that I think we can, regardless of what you think about them, they're quite tough and they're quite strong. They've been around for a while. Wrestling Observer, Dave Meltzer, said that was the planned finish, and basically the botch that you can call it that, was that Ronda Rousey's shoulder was never meant to be up. And we're recording this before Raw, right? I think we'll learn a lot more on Raw. If Ronda Rousey marches out there, my shoulder wasn't down, I'm going to go away for a while, I think we have to start saying that, well, that's a whole different conversation. We'll start there as we've got there. If they have done that, they have absolutely Sting versus Hogan WCW'd it. And if you've never seen that match, basically Sting was on this tear. They've been teasing his in-ring return for, year and a half, if not longer. And all everybody wanted was for Sting to walk to the ring, beat up Hulk Hogan, win his title, kind of vanquish the NWO. There was fast counts. There was shenanigans. Bret Hart came out, he restarted the match, and it pretty much killed any momentum that Sting had, because everyone was like, well, that was a bit weak. That wasn't, the rising, confident victory that we'd hoped for. And then WCW, they kind of put themselves in a bad position. And that's what we wanted with Becky Lynch, right? No matter how they were going to do it, it didn't matter if she beat Charlotte, Ronda, tapped them out, pin. We just wanted one of those victories that was solid and that we could believe in. And I don't really think... Well, we didn't get that. There's no two ways. I know in the section we were watching, it was everyone looked at each other like, is that the end? Is that not the end? So I think that would be the botch in this sense. I don't believe that there was meant to be another finish. I don't believe that anybody was meant to tap anybody out, although that does tie into the other rumors that have popped up, which are apparently at one point the finish was meant to be Becky Lynch tapping out Ronda Rousey, and you can imagine the kind of news and sort of rush of interest that would have sparked throughout the wrestling community, because Ronda Rousey, much like Brock Lesnar, is cool because when she came into the WWE, you know that she's legit. She was changed the women's UFC game entirely, brought the game to where it is now, but she's never been tapped out, ever. So a great way to kind of solidify Becky Lynch as not only your new top female babyface, but also pretty much the star of the company, is to say, look, man, she tapped out Ronda Rousey. What hasn't she done? She's also a two-time champion. Apparently, people either within the Ronda Rousey camp or the WWE camp thought to themselves, well, we shouldn't really do that because we don't want to have the visual of Ronda Rousey tapping out. And as we know, when WWE has those clips, they'll run them into the ground, as they should. It's how you take moments and make sure they last forever. So that then got changed into this pin. And if it was going to be a pin, the problem with that, and I think maybe this ties into the title of this video, I think an actual botch that you can focus on. For months now, we've been building up the disarmer as something that, it's a devastating finishing move. And kind of all three women had that. Charlotte had the figure eight, Ronda Rousey had her own armbar, and so did Becky Lynch. And that's a conversation everybody has online as well. Well, Becky Lynch's armbar doesn't look very real, neither did Ronda Rousey. I'm going to let you on a secret. It's because it's not real. If you actually put an armbar on someone for more than 3 seconds, you break their arm. That's why people go crazy. You ever seen in UFC when someone gets an armbar, they go, yeah, and they go crazy because they're well aware that their arm is going to be broken. So it's fake. It's fake. It hurts, but it's fake. Keep up, people. We've gone on a tangent. My point being is that, look at that. I popped the room, and now I'm getting really hot. This room is hot. So I understand. I think that's why it's strange to say, okay, Becky Lynch, I just realized I didn't mention my burned face. I got burned. I saw the comments. I know. But I understand. It's a strange thing to do. You've built up Becky Lynch as this submission wrestler. She doesn't really win by pinfall. I don't really even think she has a move that anybody would have reacted to in the crowd that much. She's got the Beck-sploder, but, I mean, how often does she ever win with that? So I think that's where the issue comes in. If you had seen Ronda, if Charlotte had been taken out by a big move, which she had, and then Becky Lynch had locked in the submission, you build. Ronda, she's looking for the rope, she's looking at the referee for help, she's utterly helpless. And then after, 30, 45 seconds, you feel the crowd, she taps out. I then think you get, that's my mum, I then think you get the appropriate response. Because it's much like the Kofi Kingston thing. Kofi Kingston won with the Trouble in Paradise. And because that's what we wanted, and because it was satisfying, we all jumped out of our seats, went crazy. It was a feel-good moment. That's what we wanted with Becky Lynch. You can easily rectify these situations. It only takes, again, a storyline angle on Raw. She's still a double champion, and also you can almost recreate your own history with the images that you do have. In the sense, Becky Lynch holding up both those titles. You almost forget how the match ended, but if we are focusing on that main event and the word botch or mistake or maybe something WWE shouldn't have done, it wasn't the wrong finish, Charlotte wasn't meant to take the fall, Ronda was happy to do it, it's just one of those things where they didn't want to tap Ronda out, they had to come up with a way for Becky Lynch to pin her, they went with a crucifix pin. With Austin, I'm not trying to go down this path, but if you think of it, would Austin ever have won with a roll-up pin? Probably not, especially not when you're trying to establish them as the champion with The Rock, with John Cena. I know it happens at parts of their career, but not necessarily at WrestleMania 35 when you've also got the first ever women's main event in the history of the world. And that's not a bad thing. The history of the world, it never happened before. So in that sense, yes, not the greatest thing in the world, but sometimes it is about the destination rather than the journey. We got what we wanted. At least, imagine Charlotte Flair had won. I mean, I personally wanted that a little bit because people would be so mad. And there is a story you could tell. Maybe you wanted to build to WrestleMania 36 and have Becky Lynch versus Charlotte and do a year build like they did with John Cena versus The Rock. But that's all the information I have. That's what I think. I think ultimately Becky Lynch is the champ. Kofi Kingston the champ. Seth Rollins is the champ. Actually, there's some more news for you. Apparently as well, Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar wasn't meant to be the first match on the show. And Hulk Hogan, when he was out there, had absolutely no idea that Paul Heyman was going to walk to the ring. They changed their minds when Hulk Hogan and Alexa Bliss were out on the damn stage. And Hogan was like, what's going on? They just did that. But it was the right call. The Becky Lynch thing, maybe a bad call. You let us know in the comments below. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling. Try not to talk about my red face. I know, but if people go, Miller, you're burned. I realise this. I'm me. And mirrors exists. But thank you very much for watching. Keep enjoying WhatCulture's WrestleMania content. And I'll see you soon.